from the News Channel 5 network. This is Score on Business.
Hey, welcome to Score on Business. I'm Pete Hendricks, a serial entrepreneur, and your host for today. SCORE is a nonprofit organization that is really interested in seeing small business and entrepreneurs succeed. Our website is scorenashville.org. There are all manner of classes available, and then there's no cost counseling from people who have been successful in business. And so check us out, scorenashville.org. Okay, our first guest today, I'm so excited, is Kirk Hintz, who is CEO of Infinity Management and Radiology Alliance. Kirk is the Infinity Management runs the business side of radiology practices, thus allowing the physicians to focus on medical care. And Radiology Alliance is a group of 50 radiologists that provide radiology interpretive services. So, Kirk, and thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Pete.
So, when you arrived at Infinity, what did you find?
Well, we found a lot of great people in our company, but not a lot of great process. And not a great culture.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about the culture you discovered.
Yeah, the culture when I arrived was really fraught with distrust among the employees and the management. There really wasn't a clear picture of what the company was doing, what it was supposed to do, why it even existed. So I think there was enough distrust that it mandated some attention.
Right. And so in a relatively short amount of time, you've made tremendous progress with the culture. How did you do that?
Well, initially, we just needed to clarify for everyone on the team, what is it we do? And we determined we're a comprehensive medical management company. And then we needed to define why we even exist.
Right.
Which is, to serve our patients with compassion.
Right.
And then we identified core values. And those core values really became the focal point of everything that we did, from employee evaluations to hiring. So we identified integrity.
Okay.
Genuine positive attitude.
Okay.
We identified respect.
Right.
And a servant heart.
Oh, yeah. And you have that tied into the reviews.
Yes.
Employee reviews. So it's not something that's on the wall. It's something.
It's completely integrated into our company and became part of our culture, because we didn't just want the values on the wall, like you said.
Right.
They became the filter by which we evaluated performance, both from the current employees, but also the hiring process. So, and I think the servant heart core value has really been the distinguishing mark for our cultural turnaround. When you create a culture where people prefer other people over themselves, it becomes very disruptive from a competitive standpoint. It enables people to excel.
Right. So can you give an example of that? Of what it looks like now?
Right. So even in our managers meeting, when we talk about the week's activities, whether it's a to-do list or projects we're working on, almost inevitably, one of our managers will stand up and say, I wish you could have seen what so-and-so did this week. And they'll begin to brag on them. Right. Instead of creating a culture where we're competitive and cutthroat, we're actually preferring other people and wanting them to be recognized for their efforts.
Yeah, that just makes it so pleasant for people to be there. You all want the patients to be treated with compassion. It supports that. And I guess what really is important is it came from the top, and that you sent that message consistently.
Right. Corporate clarity is very important, and we seize every opportunity when we pull our teams together to really review our core values and reinforce what does it mean. Because we can't over communicate those values.
The servant heart, you announced that and you let people know about that, and I understand it wasn't just you, and there's some other folks there as well, but can you give an example or two of how you demonstrated to people that this is really what matters. I mean, saying we're going to have servant hearts and having it integrated into people are different. Tell me about that.
Mm-hmm. So one of the things, when you communicate the core value, people either can choose it to accept it or reject it, and that determines really their longevity on the team from that standpoint, because if there's a discongruent of core values, it's not going to work long term.
Right.
But for the most part, people embrace that. And for those people who had a value of wanting to prefer other people or serve other people, it enabled them to do more so.
Right.
And be recognized for it. And so we recognize that behavior. One of the examples is one of our team leaders wanted to manifest that core value. And so she made a breakfast for her team and physically served their plates to them. Taking a position of leadership and making it a position of servitude.
Right.
That's one example of how our company has began to manifest that core value.
Now, how do you make sure team members know that you care about them?
Well, one of the things that we did is we hired some wellness coaches to come in and meet with them.
Yeah.
We created a whole wellness program because we recognize that employees sometimes have goals, personal goals, but they're not able to achieve them on their own. Yeah. Sometimes we need help staying motivated, whether it's to lose weight or exercise more or drink 8 glasses of water a day.
Yeah.
And so we hired wellness coaches who come in on company time, meet with all of our employees on company time, and help them establish their goals and achieve their goals. That has been a tremendous message that we care about them. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It doesn't reduce our premiums on insurance products. It's a cost, but we invest in them, and they really do see that as a huge statement of our caring for them.
Right.
We've had some employees, Pete, that have lost as much as 50 pounds.
Wow.
And so they're looking at us saying, you cared that much about me to help me, and it's been a great statement.
What about working mothers? How do you show them you care about them?
Well, we have working mothers, as most companies do, and I think it's important to be sensitive to the challenges that working mothers have in their work schedules. When Johnny is sick, they need to be liberated to go take care of Johnny, and we do everything we can do to try to provide them that flexibility to take care of their families and balance that workload as well.
Yes. Yeah, and communicate to them that family matters.
Family really is more important than work.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Okay. So, how do you determine what people do really well, and then how do you take advantage of that knowledge? And I think it seems to me that you really recognize you recognize what people do well, and you try to liberate them to do that.
Well, you've actually stated, I mean, as leaders, we really are responsible for architecting an environment where people can thrive.
Yeah.
And so if we can do that and liberate that excellence, then we're going to achieve superior results. So one of the ways we do that is we don't have job descriptions that we hire into. We look for the right people to join our team. We bring them on the team, and then we jointly will sit down and whiteboard and create the position that liberates them into excellence.
That makes me think of Jim Collins' book, Good to Great. They're one of the case study companies does that. And what a great thing to do.
Yeah, the employees are extremely satisfied because they get to play to their strengths. Now, it doesn't mean that every day people don't have to do things they don't like, right? We all do. But we want to gear them toward and steer them toward things that they excel at.
Okay. Okay, and then how has this new culture, this change that you've done, showing people that you care about them, how has that impacted financials?
The operating results of the company are absolutely tremendous. So the cultural change has taken place, and we back away from that and say, what was the result? Many of our clients have seen increased metrics in their accounts receivables, billing, other processes. Some clients have seen as much as a 7% increase in income. And I can't blame just the cultural change for that. I think it's a combination of process and culture that have come at it and created that kind of operating result.
Now, I'll tell you, I had not realized the importance of process, and have recently learned that it's really important. In 30 seconds, can you tell us a couple of things that you've done with process?
we've really tried to leverage technology. In the past, we would send all of our payments to our office for payment posting. Today, it's all an electronic thing. It goes to the bank. They create a file. That file comes automatically into our system, and we work exceptions. Our entire billing system now is set up for working exceptions, exception-based billing versus having a lot of input on the personnel side. So process has been a real key to our success.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Pete, thank you so much for having me.
And so we're going to take a quick break. And remember, check out scorenashville.org. We'll be right back. Yeah.